Welcome back to Season 2 of Chasing Walleye. In our first episode, we're starting with the first tournament of the season at Crawling Valley Reservoir in Alberta, Canada. This man-made reservoir is the first stop on the Southern Alberta Walleye Trail. This non-profit organization runs several tournaments at the beginning of the year and a final wind-up tournament for the top 20 qualifiers. Rules and regulations for this tournament outline the boundaries for the tournament and the pre-fish days that are allowed before the tournament starts. All Southern Alberta Walleye Trail tournaments are a catch, photo, release style of tournament. It's a calm, sunny, and warm day to start pre-tournament fishing. I've had the opportunity to fish this lake 3 or 4 times in the past, so there's a few spots that I know of where I might be able to find some walleye. I was able to quickly find some fish on the live scope and hook into one. Not the species I'm looking for, but it's always fun to catch these pike. The first walleye of the day comes pretty quick after that first pike. This one would be a counter in the tournament, measuring 57 centimeters, and using the tournament conversion scale would be 4.19 pounds. Now that I've confirmed there's at least one walleye in this area, it's time to move on and try a different part of the lake, see if I can find another group of fish. Almost immediately, I find the fish on the live scope and get a bite. This was another walleye located in less than 6 feet of water on a pile of rocks. Another decent-sized walleye measuring 52 centimeters or 3.18 pounds. I was still seeing lots of fish on the live scope, but I want to leave the rest of them undisturbed and hopefully they'll stick around in this area on tournament day. As you can see on the camera, there is a bug hatch going on, so there's quite a few bugs on the surface of the water. I've been trying different techniques and different baits to see if that bug hatch is affecting the bite at all. After running through a few more pike, I was able to locate another walleye in this spot. Coming in at 48 centimeters and 2.5 pounds, this fish would also count during a tournament. In my preparation for pre-fishing, I've set up multiple preset spots that I need to check out. Since I'm not that familiar with this lake, I really have to understand the structure and what kind of fish might be holding near that structure. There are several other species of fish on this lake that can look like walleye on that sonar, So the only way to be sure is to get that fish into the boat and identify if it's walleye or not. The last walleye of pre-fishing was 55 centimeters or 3.76 pounds. I didn't catch a lot of walleye during pre-fish, but that wasn't the goal. I moved every time I caught one to see if I could locate another group. And to end the day, I catch my last fish using my favorite technique, slip bobber fishing. Coming in at the end of the day of pre-fishing, I was feeling pretty confident about the next day and the start of the tournament, and where those walleyes are going to be located. The one thing I didn't pay attention to was the change in the weather. Day one of the tournament starts off with a very cold morning as we prepare to go out. A cold front blew in overnight, and the wind has picked up and the temperatures dropped dramatically. We quickly get to our first spot where I caught my first walleye during pre-fish. However, the weather has drastically changed how we have to fish the spot. The strong wind will move the boat differently than what we had in pre-fish, so we have to use that and the live scope to find those walleye. The walleye were here the day before, so we started casting and looking for signs on the sonar. However, as we move across the spot, we do not see any sign of fish. We're hoping that maybe they were just stuck to the bottom, but we could not find the walleye anywhere. After about 30 minutes of not catching anything, we decided to move to the next spot where I caught a walleye in pre-fish. After an hour and hooking into our first fish, it turns out to be a pike. Even Mike gets in on the action at this spot. After a couple hours of fishing, but we cannot find the walleye or even any pike at those locations, the fish have completely moved, and I think it's due to the weather change. In hour 4 of day 1, we have moved to a completely different part of the lake where we're seeing some decent marks on the sonar. Finally hooking into our first walleye of the day. This walleye will measure at 51.75 centimeters for a total of 3.13 pounds. It's always a relief to get that first walleye on the board. Hoping this was the start of something good, we checked and checked the area but could not find another walleye that was willing to bite. With about 2 hours left in the day, we move again to a similar part of the lake with the same structure, hoping to find some more walleye. However, by the end of the tournament day, we were unable to find another walleye. So we have to bring it in with one walleye on the board and a very low weight. Our first day was very disappointing. We only got the one walleye for a total of 3.13 pounds, putting us right at the bottom of the leaderboard. On day 2 of the tournament, we know that we are unable to finish in the top 10 overall. However, there is prize money for top weights on the second day and biggest fish. Weather conditions for day 2 are very similar to day 1. It is windy and it's a cold start. However, opposite to day 1, the bite is strong. We are catching pike after pike after pike. It's a lot of fun and we're hoping we can sift through all these pike and find a walleye in them. Just like day 1, it does take us several hours before we can finally pull in a walleye. This walleye measures at 52 centimeters for 3.18 pounds. After that one walleye, we're back into the pike bite, where they're picking up anything that hits the water. Catching this many fish is always fun, but not exactly what we're looking for on this day. Get that 30-to-1 ratio. Some strong winds pick up towards the end of the day with only a couple hours left to go. And Mike hooks into our second walleye of the day.
That feels like a walleye.
With this being our second walleye, we actually calculated a 30-to-1 that we caught 30 pike for every one walleye we brought into the boat. This walleye measures 50 centimeter for a weight of 2.83 pounds. And that was our last fish of the tournament. We had a great day catching all those pike. It was a lot of fun. However, we were disappointed that we could only locate 2 walleye for the day. The day 2 gave us a total of 6.01 pounds, with a combined weight over 2 days of 9.14 pounds, leaving us in 40th place overall for the tournament. And congratulations to the winners, Jess and Taylor, with an amazing total of 41.58 pounds and a cash prize of $11,532. We went into this tournament with some high hopes and walked away disappointed. However, I think we learned a lot with changing weather conditions and how those fish can move across the lake quite quickly. These tournaments are always lots of fun, and the Southern Alberta Walleye Trail is a great organization that runs these tournaments very well. These fishing days can be long and exhausting, but we always enjoy stopping and talking to the other anglers on the trail. So if you see our boat out there, come by and say hi. We always love talking about fishing. It's been an exciting tournament trail so far this year, and there's lots of stories to tell. So check back again for the next episode of Chasing Walleye.